Yeah.
With it.
What's up? What's up, my people? We
Gotta
back.
get that wine ready.
Friday, the Fire Session Podcast. Benji
What's
over
going
here.
on?
What's good with you, my G?
We straight, man. You know, trying to get out here and get some of this Cali sun, and it's slapping me right across my face. But I figure we'll deal with it, you know what I'm saying, for the time being. Considering you in Dallas, Texas right now, and it's what, 49 degrees, 48 degrees?
You got it. It's 50 degrees, bro. You know, I had to go into the building today. Shout out to my folks at work. You know, people starting to slowly but surely, you know, drip back into the building.
Right.
You know, fortunately for us, it's not mandatory. You know what I'm saying? We just go in the building from time to time, you know what I'm saying, to do some things. And went into the building this morning, and it was, you know, sun was out. It was all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, when I come out, it should be the same. When I came out, bruh, that it felt like some Chi-Town wind was slapping me or something. So for y'all who've been to the Chi, y'all know how it is when y'all walk around them buildings downtown and that wind hit you from around the corner of them big buildings. That's what it felt like outside, and this is Texas. So, man, yeah, I was shocked by that, but hey, it's bipolar.
You see this? This is
Y'all already know. If y'all
this
tune
is
in,
beauty.
this guy always talking about Cali.
Beauty right here. This is beauty.
Uh-oh. Benji turning into Max Headroom over there. If y'all remember Max Headroom back in the day, I'm telling my age, but you know, it was an old cartoon type deal that he used to glitch a little bit. Benji over there glitching a little bit, trying to be outside in that Cali weather. My man, you're gonna have to fix that signal, dog. All right, so while we kind of wait for Benji to fix his signal and get himself straight over there, this week it's been crazy for me because last week I was off and I was on vacation with the fam, and when you go back to work after vacation, I didn't forget my passcodes. You know what I'm saying? Like some of y'all do. I didn't forget my passcodes, but when I went back to work on Monday, I was like, oh my God.
Woo.
I was Benji, you still Max Headroom. You still Max Headroom, brother. And we got people in the comments clowning already. Come on, Ben Dog. Come on, bro. He done tapped out, y'all. Well, like I was saying, went back to work this week. It was crazy. Because when you start back working after you've been off a week, you kind of got to motivate yourself, right? You sit down, you know you're getting paid to do a job, but it's kind of hard at first because you're like, man, you know what? You just keep thinking about all the fun you had the week before when you was on vacay. So, you know, hey, I told Benji before the show today, it felt odd just being back after we missed last week, but we hit you all with some throwback episodes. Hopefully you were able to check those out. If you did not, go to our page, the Fire Session Podcast page on Facebook or on YouTube, and check out those episodes that you missed because they're amazing. I'm telling you, great info, good times, good entertainment. Got my guy Benji back. Let's bring him back on the screen. Let's see if he fixes good glitch.
Try to enjoy the Cali sun and wouldn't obey the rules, but it's okay though. It's all right.
Yeah. We got people in the audience clowning. Look at Ronnie Love. She said, "I thought it was me. I'm too young for that, Ken." He sound like an old toy Mike to me. Yeah. You sound like an old toy Mike, bro. I'm glad.
Hey, that was all bad. But you know, take a risk, don't work, step out of it, go back. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, life is all about risk, bro. Unless you have unprotected sex, don't do that one. Ask me.
No, don't do that one. No. Wear your rubbers.
Protect yourself.
Wear your rubbers.
At all time, like a boxing match, because you might.
I don't care if she tell you she only slept with 2 people in 2 years. Don't believe it.
Yeah. Hey, like I said, protect yourself at all times, like in a boxing match. Cover your head because you don't want to get a sexual concussion. Remember that one. Remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a great guest on. We clowning right now. She's an amazing person.
Yeah.
Someone who actually was, if you all remember, back at the beginning of the pandemic, I started out doing a show called You See It Live, and it was just me clowning with memes and videos. And I had to get this young lady on my show because she's so dynamic. She
Right.
came on. She was actually in Africa at the time. Big time people do big time stuff and go to Africa. So when she was in Africa, we couldn't get a great signal. So we had her on for a little while. But look at God. We're still doing the show. And I had to bring her back because she's doing even bigger things and definitely somebody who you all need to know. So when I talked to Benji about it, Benji was like, man, that's no brainer. Let's get her on. Let's get her on soon. So it's great that we were able to bring her on during Women's History Month because she doing some big stuff and it's historic.
Right.
And like the young folks say, no cap. It's historic. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and bring her on. Her name is Rhonda Rokki Harper. Y'all already see it. All right, let's bring her on. Dang.
Let's do it.
Hey guys. Hey guys, I'm glad you got the good. You got it good now. I'm glad you got that together.
Yeah, I'm telling you. See, that's what you get.
You rub it in one area, and then one area messes up. You know what I'm saying? Listen,
I'm telling you,
you gotta be a risk taker out here.
It was in your heart. That's all that matters. You wanted that Cali sunshine, and sometimes
they still got a whiff of that Cali sunshine.
There you go. That's all you need. Hey, thank you for the intro, though. That was beautiful. I'm just in the community. I don't see myself as a big figure. I see the community sees me as a big figure, but I'm just that little girl from Kansas City who wanted to see something happen that didn't happen for most of her life and then decided to do something about it. So I don't consider what I do extraordinary. It's like somebody had to step up and say something. Somebody had to step up and do something. And I had access where other people don't. And that's the biggest problem with why you don't see more of us in my industry. So I thank you for that introduction, because that means a lot, especially coming from my community. We just don't know that people like me are here. And
that's why we gotta dig into this because it's interesting.
Let's go.
There's a lot of stuff in it, the reading up on it and looking up certain things. I was like, you know what? Shoot, we need to talk about this. So this is dope.
Hold on. I know the people are wondering what this is because we keep saying this. We keep talking about it. She's gonna tell you what it is, but before we go into that, we're gonna lead into it, but we're gonna let her tell you about her background so y'all can know who she is, so you can see the full picture. So tell us about your background. You said you're from Kansas City. What area you from? You know what I'm saying? What set you claim? Like
all that.
Throw it up.
All right, here it is.
Where you from?
Hi, my name is Rhonda Rokki Harper. I'm from San Jose, California, via Kansas City, Kansas. I am the founder and CEO of Black Girls Surf. I am the founder and CEO of Inkwell Surf and also Africa Surf International, which is a surf series that we created especially for Pan-Afro surfers around the world. So that's what I do. That's the thing. That's the thing that everybody's talking about. And how I got started just being in Kansas. I mean, we're just talking about the heat right now. Ken's from Texas. I'm from Kansas City. In the summer, it's hot. You don't want to stay outside. You can't. I mean, our pool system back there consisted of a black public school that you had to walk to 3 miles, or the next door neighbors had this like big brown horse trough that was like made out of metal that was instantly hot boiling water and like the 100-degree Kansas City heat. So we stay at the house all the time. We were watching movies all the time. And if you're in Kansas City, especially in my neighborhood, you're only watching white movies. You're watching Beach Blanket Bingo. You was watching How to Stuff a Wild Bikini. You was watching Muscle Beach Party. You was watching Gidget, the Mickey Mouse Club. Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon were like humongous in Kansas City because we were the Mickey Mouse. We're on that Bible Belt. So, it was all that Christian fun, they called it at the time. But what you did notice, what I noticed in Muscle Beach Party was one black person. And one very special black person for a black child growing up in the 70s appeared in Muscle Beach Party. And that was a 15-year-old Stevie Wonder. And and Stevie Wonder debuted in a surf movie called Muscle Beach Party. And his song he was singing Happy Day. And I mean, they were getting down. They had a a white girl named Candy, and you could have swore that sister was black. She was getting the group. I mean, she was definitely watching Soul Train on the weekends.
Stevie wasn't surfing though, was he?
No, Stevie wasn't surfing. He was
singing.
That would be great. That would have been excellent. At the end, they would have these like beach parties, right? So all the gang would get together in this like clubhouse scene, and they would all have a band in the back, and they'd be like, yeah. They do that and they do the little swim and all that stuff they used to do back in the day. And Stevie was singing Happy Day when he was just playing the harmonica. He wasn't even playing the piano at that time. So he came on with his little self. And if you knew Stevie and you were a child in that era, and you knew who he was in the 70s with As and Songs to the Key of Life and all the things that he done in civil rights, that was your attachment. You didn't care about the fact that there was no other black people. That was your connection. So you knew that if Stevie could be part of this scene, and you don't know Hollywood's not real when you're 7, you think that you can be there too. So if you can't see that person, you can't be that person. And that's who I am right now, because if you can't see people like me, you'll never become them. Now, I'm sure half your audience is saying, I didn't even know black people surf, because most black people don't swim. And that's always been the cap. That's always been the lie, the myth that's going on in our communities.
I can swim.
My dad was USCG, United States Coast Guard. He left Coast Guard and went to the Air Force. His kids, before you turn 5 years old, you're in the water. You're swimming. There's no exception. Swimming is not a recreational thing. It is a life skill. And my dad was destined to teach all his kids that skill. However, for us in the 70s, right, it was hard for us to find places where we could swim.
You could swim, right?
I'm from Kansas City, so I'm from the Board of Education, the Brown versus Board of Education state. Even though they were lying and telling people we were all segregated and we were all going to be free and folks could ride the buses into schools, it was still pretty much segregated in Kansas City, Kansas, at least.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is in the 70s?
This is the 70s. I grew up, I was born in 68. I know I don't look it, but I'm 54 years old. They were still segregating us. So the pool that was
the Jim Crow laws had basically kind of were still in motion. They're still in motion today.
They were still
in certain ways. But back in '67, you had the Jim Crow laws out there then.
And so, as you can see now, with with Congress the way it is now, you can see now the Missouri Reps Act. They're the same as the Kansas Act. We've never been post-slavery in Kansas. Not that I know of. And I left at 10. My parents were both in NAACP. They were in civil rights. So I grew up in civil rights whole movement. My parents, one parent was the president of NAACP, the other one was a vice president. And one of them had criminal reform and one of them had juvenile reform. They were always constantly in the motion. They was always constantly doing the march, doing the work that needs to be done to make change in our lives. And one of the things that my mom worked on was the bus system, because even though they had smashed that law in Kansas City, it was my mom and her gang of women in Kansas City who finally squashed that, and we got to ride into other schools districts. So we were going to an all-black school at one point and then got bused to an all-white school. Well, I don't know about busing, because when we went to a white school, we had to walk.
I want to ask this, because that's a touchy subject because of what your mom did. I wouldn't say touchy subject, but it's a subject I think that needs to be brought out. How did what was it like back then, or are you familiar with how your mom made that happen? Making it was just so the kids could be bused.
My mom was always back and forth to Washington, D.C. I have pictures of me at the state capitol in Washington, D.C., all over the place in Washington, D.C. at like 7, 8 years old. My parents, this was the lifestyle that I lived. They were always gone. There was always somebody taking care of us. They were always on TV. We were always getting harassed, because they were fighting for civil rights. And I remember, people running Mustangs up through our front yard and things like that. I mean, and my mom was doing this until the day she died. Rest her soul. She only died 3 years ago. But up until that, my mom was fighting for civil rights and the rights of veterans of color until literally she was on the phone with one of her clients when she passed away. So this is in a thing that's inbred. This is who I am. This isn't an act that it's not performative. It's just, something's wrong and now you're going to fix it. So when my mom was transferred, by the way, she got transferred, government transfer. She's now working at the EEOC because she realized that getting in the system to make change instead of staying out of the system with protest signs was better. She could be better served on the inside. So she was working
handling the laws and things of that nature, right?
Yeah, one of the first. She was the first Black, I think, female investigator for the EEOC, definitely in Kansas City. But I'm sure that was it was a United States thing because they were just now starting to integrate the EEOC in with people of color. So, and she got transferred with another Hispanic woman who ended up sharing a house before we even moved out there. So when they got transferred to California, there were two places that we had a choice of. We had a choice of Los Angeles, where Beverly Hillbillies live, because that's what our reality is. If in the Midwest, you don't have like different strokes and all that stuff. You know what I mean? You're either living with the Beverly Hillbillies or, you're going to San Jose, California, which is a little bit like Kansas City. The vibe was like Kansas City pretty much. What you found out later on going to school out here was almost exactly identical to
segregated and
yeah. So we were bused for a while at like the age of 10, and then we finally started getting into this other school system where we just had to walk. My parents moved out here to California and set us into public school. We were all going to private schools at that time. Now we're in public school system. So now we're getting called the N-word. Like, it's just, you're part of your name. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You're not even a person anymore. You that nigga girl, you this and that. Right. And that's where I was going to school. And so as you can see on the screen somewhere over there, it says Rokki. Well, I was given that nickname in 1976 because I knew who my parents were. I knew what they were doing was for Black people. I'd already been given talks at the age of 7 in front of 10,000 people, the NAACP. So I was already ready for battle. And my dad, because every time you call me the N-word, I'm going to bust you in your mouth. He decided to call me Rokki because that's the year
I was just about to say that.
He gave me a quarter too. He gave me a bicentennial quarter and a nickname. It was like, she gonna handle it. And I
mean, but that's a Southern thing though, to give a nickname. You mentioned being from Kansas City and so forth. That's like a Southern thing. Like sometimes I'm terrible with calling people by their names. I give them a nickname so I can remember them better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm Rokki. My brother's Booger. I mean, there's a whole bunch of us, but that was the nickname that fit, and so it kind of became who I was. Even though I only let my family call me Rokki, but I always fought for people. Even I remember being in kindergarten, my first day of kindergarten, walking in, and a white girl. I was playing with a white doll, and a white girl told me that Black took the doll and said, Black girls can't have white babies. I wish she could flash forward to 2022.
She'd be disappointed, huh?
She's gonna be sadly
majorly disappointed. Huh?
Like I looked her up. She's still in Kansas City. I was like, oh, you poor baby. But I always want to like revisit her.
I mean, they got good barbecue down there. I mean,
they got excellent barbecue, man. If we don't do anything else in Kansas City, we're doing a barbecue and we're doing jazz and Crown Royal. Other than that, and a gold tooth, forget it.
I ain't mad at them for it.
Welcome to KC, home of the Chiefs and the Royals. We don't care about nothing else.
I mean,
that's how we do.
Yeah, the Chiefs are in a tough division, but we'll get
we'll get
now. We'll get to that somewhere along the line. They're in a tough division now. It's gonna be tough.
Now I'm out here in California, right? And it's a California lifestyle. I'm 10. My mom wants to take us to Disneyland. I want to go to the beach because I'm still in the Stevie Wonder.
Right.
I want to go to the beach thing. And so my mom was like, okay, we're going to go to Disneyland, but we're going to go the week after. We're going to go to the beach before. So she takes me to Santa Cruz, California, and go to Lighthouse Beach. And she almost drowned that day. But we, the kids, enjoyed the waves. We didn't know how dangerous the waves were. All I could see was this massive swimming pool. right? You don't know what's in it. Nobody teaches you in Kansas City that there's sharks in the water. We saw Jaws, but that we knew it was a movie. But they don't tell you what's in the water. So we're little kids. We just thought it was a big old swimming pool.
Big thing to do, right?
Yeah, I'm addicted at this point, So when they decide that they're finally going to go to Disneyland, I'm like, I don't want to go see Mickey Mouse. I want to go see that mess. I want to go back to the beach. And I stayed like that. And then, again, I'm in all white situation, all white school. I mean, I could count all the black kids on 2 hands. I'm still going through it. I'm still getting called names. I'm still fighting. My parents was finally like, okay, this girl is either going to end up in the juvenile system, or we're going to have to send her away so that she's out of this microcosm of San Jose and its racism. So
they wanted you to kind of expand your territory, learn new things, right?
Yeah. And so that last fight was the last fight. The last fight was actually, it was Halloween. And I'm never going to forget this. It was the last fight where they decided they were going to send me off. It was Halloween, and 3 white boys came to school with KKK uniforms on.
Oh, wow.
And one of them sat directly in front of me in world cultures. And I had to show him what black culture does when white culture clashes. And so when I did, they wanted to suspend me, and my mom came to the school. So she knew right then they're about to put her into the system. And she fought, and they apologized, right? The kids, I think they had to like pick up the school after the bruises because one of the football players got a hold of one of them. But each one of them had been attacked that day at school, and all of the black kids were punished. And so that was my mom. So that was it. My mom was like, okay, this is going to get out of control. We're going to send her off. On my dad's side, I'd started dating 15 years old. I'd started dating a Caucasian male because that's all we had in San Jose. In the area, right?
Like, forget it. Like, just forget it. That's all that's around us.
But hold on, because
no brothers?
None. So and if they are, they not. So by the time I get back from Hawaii, I'm woke. You understand me? The last one was from Grambling University, right? He was real black. He was from Grambling. So I was like, yes, we made it over the mountain. So one did get imported into San Jose, California, and I ended up with him in my senior year. But other than that, it was all white males. And so, if you have a father that was born in 1929, that's not going to happen in his home. Right. It was okay for the boys, but it wasn't okay for the girls because it put that mammy master slave thing together of why we're all Irish now. Right. They want to go after the black women. So that was his mentality. It's an old, antiquated thought process, but he equivalated black women being with white men as slave master and slaves. And he wasn't happy.
I can totally understand that. That's passed down to a degree.
It is
from what he was raised and so forth. So I could totally understand it.
And they're civil rights workers. So the next thing you know, I'm on a ticket to paradise. I'm on my way to Hawaii at 15 years old.
Okay.
And people say, well, you was put on punishment and you were sent, because I was sent to live with my sister who was 19 and was living on the North Shore of Hawaii. So people go, was that really a punishment?
Really? Because going to Hawaii, I mean,
okay, but wait.
Black folk there.
But this is how you have to think about children too, because I laugh about it now. But if I'm going back as a child, you're being separated from your family unit for something that you have no control over. Like, do you want me to not stick up for myself and my people? And also, too, are we going to start importing black men into San Jose so they can have black children so that we can all, you know what I mean? Like, there was no way it was no fault of my own that I'm sent, but I'm feeling like, I'm feeling downtrodden because now I'm being sent away. But I ain't gonna complain because once I got to the place, I thought I was staying. I thought I was staying on base, but actually they were staying in a resort that was owned by the Hiltons, which was the Turtle Bay Hilton at the time. And in the front of it is the Kuilima Estates. And if you're in the military, because everybody's like, how the hell did you end up with that? You must be Cosby. Okay, look, if you're in the military and you want to live off base, the base is going to provide that for you.
Yeah.
So my sister lived there with her boyfriend, and that's how I got to stay in this wonderful resort. So it's always been misconstrued that I didn't have to go through something to get where I am. I had to go through a lot of stuff to get through where I am, and being just an emotional wreck by the time I get there because of all the things, all the trauma that's happened previously. I'm an angry little kid on this rock. Hawaii was one of those places that we used to go. It wasn't even a family vacation. It was so many times that you get to the point where you're like, we going again? Like, we going to Hawaii again? Like, why are we going again though, Mom? Why? But this is the thing. Here's what
that's a good problem to have.
Exactly. Well, when you're a kid, you don't understand that. When you're an adult and you have to pay for that ticket, you don't have to. But as a child, remember, I'm a military brat. So it was $5 for us to catch a military hop from an Air Force base to go to Hawaii. So we were always there. So you'll get tired of that after a while. Can we go to like Las Vegas? I didn't even go to Las Vegas till I was like grown. But we were in Hawaii so many times. So I ended up going to school there. And before school even started, I think it was like 2 weeks maybe before school had started, I was already going up to the hotel, to the Hilton every single day. And on the top of the hill, there was this bench, and it overlooked this break. And when we say a break, we're saying where the waves break. So when the wave comes up and it goes like this and it's getting ready to break, that's what the surfer is looking for. If it's just flat, nobody's going out. But if it has a curvature to it, and this had the perfect curvature, and I'm not even a surfer yet. I just knew because I'd see the tourists go out there, and they were out there for hours by themselves, from front to back, early in the morning till night. And I was like, oh my God, this is like watching Beach Blanket Bingo, only it's on live, right? And I'm not. And the only thing I took to Hawaii with me were journals, because I was a graffiti artist. And a wannabe B-girl. And then on the other hand, I wanted to be a surfer, right? So I only took my journals with my group, with my artwork in it, and I took my surf magazines, right? That's all. I didn't even take clothes. I said, I'm gonna get them when I get over there. So because I didn't know the style, and everybody knows Black people, when you go to school the first day, you gotta be laid, like
you gotta be fly for sure.
You do. Okay. And this is what I learned everywhere in the world except for Hawaii. Because when you come there,
you don't need all that there.
Nope. That you come in some flip-flops. Hope you'll just be cool if your shorts stay up on you and a t-shirt, and you're done. That's it. That's
because you're in the water. The weather is just so beautiful.
It's hot. It's gonna rain on you 5 minutes, and then you're gonna be dry in 10. So there's no reason to get dressed up for school. Plus, I went to school in Kahuku, which was the countryside, and so when it rained, it was mud. So you just wanted your flip-flops. You wasn't gonna. I came out there with my whole Vans. I had Sperry topsiders, all them for the day. I had the whole Jordache jean thing going on. First day, they were like, that ain't gonna work for us, sis. That ain't gonna work. Especially because
totally different culture, right?
Totally different
Welcome to our world. We'll let us show you something.
And you're gonna have to bring that down, or you're gonna get pound. That's just how it works. You just bring it down. And I watched it. I watched, the kids who were affluent, get harassed. They weren't my skin color. That was the best thing for me, was the fact that my skin was brown. So I got to pass. When you say passing, you can pass in Hawaii, and I did. But I was going up to the hotel every single day from morning to sunset. Like it was a paradise if you were out there. Sunset now, it's beautiful. And I just watched the surfers and Magnum PI. I don't know how old y'all are, but Magnum PI, the original.
I'm in my early 40s, So,
the real one was filmed at the same hotel where I was staying.
Wow.
So I would go walk up there to watch them film every single day. All they'd see was this little kid. Well, there's a little girl that keeps coming back and forth. So I'd be out there daydreaming all day long and just living life, trying to get myself set back. Right. I'm in a new place. Like, get your mind right, because this is home.
A different experience.
It's a whole different
from
experience.
Where you come from.
And at 15,
it's amazing that what you took from where you grew up to Hawaii and made it relate, because ultimately it boils down to the surfing, getting into the water.
And it exactly did that day. As soon as the Magnum PI guy saw me, he came. He was like, I'm gonna head down. He's like, hey, you want to go tandem? I didn't know what tandem was, but when he explained it to me, I had seen it on the Beach Blanket Bingo movies and on How to Waltz. But now directions from what you see on TV and what happens in real life, that's totally separate things here. So,
Right.
he says, listen, we're gonna paddle out. It wasn't that far. It wasn't that far. We got to paddle out. And as soon as the wave catches underneath the board, we're going to paddle. And then I'm going to grab you. I'm 15. I have a bikini on from here on the top of your bikini and here on the bottom of your bikini. I'm going to pull you up. You're going to stand and we're going to ride to shore. And those directions sounded very easy, didn't it?
Right. I'm sure it was difficult because it's a balance thing now. You're on
a board with somebody else too.
Yeah.
Now this is what happens.
That's one of the pros and cons. Huh?
And I'm going to show you what the con is. Paddle. I'm paddle. We paddling. I feel him. He says, okay, get up. Pulls me up like this. I go one way. He goes the other way. He comes up perfectly okay. I come up, a 15-year-old girl without her bathing suit top on.
I mean, you're in the water.
I'm never surfing again in this lifetime.
I mean, yeah. That's one of the common things for when you first hit the water.
But here's the learning lesson in that day, because I'm always about learning. In that day, I learned two things. One, you have no control when you're in the ocean.
Right.
Number two, even no matter how cocky you are, I knew I could fight. And my nickname is Rokki. Of course, I'm a fighter. Mother Nature will smack you right back into focus. Right. So
make you respect it. You can't do nothing about it. Absolutely.
You're humbled. And if you're a cocky kid at that time, now you know you need focus, right? With anything. Right. Now you're going to focus. I'm not ever going to surf again with anybody because I don't know what's going to happen with my top. Plus, this is a resort. So I'm going to come out whenever I feel like it because it's in my backyard. It's 30 seconds from my house, 2 minutes, not even that much from my house. Literally, it's my backyard. So I'm going to teach myself. So when school started, a couple days later, whatever, a guy was selling his board and another kid wanted it. I let him have that board. It was a really nice board, but I took a raggedy one, busted nose, everything's gone. And I said, listen, the dad was like, I got one for $25, right? It's not as good, but you can have it. And for a kid that just wants to surf, they don't care what that board on it. I'm surprised it even had a fin on it, but the nose was broken, the whole thing, and that was my baby. So I would take it and I would hide it in the bushes before I would come home because my sister didn't want me in the water. Now, why didn't my sister want me in the water? My sister's 19 years old and she's pregnant. I've already gotten into a situation in the ocean where I've been surrounded by jellyfish and stung, right? And then every male on the base, because it happened at Barber Point, and when that happens, somebody has to pee on you. So it's that's the thing. Yeah, somebody got to pee. And so my sister was like, hold on. It's true.
Explain that again. That again.
Are you in the ocean? Yeah, in the ocean now. You get stung by a jellyfish. There's nothing you can do. There's no anesthetic. There's no lifeguard. Yeah. The way you clean it is somebody has to pee on it. Urine will clean that out and heal it faster than anything. I still have the scar, but somebody was going to have to pee on it. And I'm at Barber's Point, which is a military base, and the beach is full of military men. And my sister said, well, who's going to pee on you? And she said it loud enough, and all these dudes was like, we'll do it. And my sister said, you're never going to the beach by yourself again, and you're never getting in the water because she didn't want that situation to happen. And so now she says, well, why didn't you take pictures of you while you were surfing? I said, well, if you told me not to surf and then I come home with pictures of me surfing, am I in trouble? You sending me back home? I'm already out. Now I'm having a good time. Listen, Hawaii is dope for a kid if they figure it out, and you could take the bus for 25 cents around the entire island. I went around the entire island, ended up in Waikiki. You can do the whole island in like 3 hours.
On the trolley you can do. That's what we did.
The whole island.
Waikiki, Oahu. You can literally
exactly.
And Chinaman's hat. I mean, I even went to, when I was there, I went to the Dole Plantation down there.
Dole Plantation, cool. That's exactly where I went to school.
Wow, that's amazing. And I remember earlier you mentioned because Magnum PI was filmed there. Mm-hmm. I found out that Jurassic Park was actually filmed. It took you to the basically the area where they filmed Jurassic Park, and it's just trees, greenery, just everything right there. It looks like a jungle.
Yeah. There's a bunch. Lost was filmed there too. A bunch of you would always see field crews. Everybody wants to film in Hawaii,
Right. It's
and
beautiful. I
and you'd
mean, the
always run
water,
into celebrities while you're
everything.
there. Everything. It's beautiful. You'd be surprised how many people that are stationed there, that are stationed
I
in
wouldn't.
Hawaii.
It's
Don't
expensive
get it.
there, but I mean, it was lovely. I stayed for 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's always a great destination for your family and friends. There's so many things you can do in such a small space.
Right.
But when you're living on the North Shore, you're getting the big waves. You're getting all the surfers. All the surfers want to be on the other side. Waikiki is for the longboarders. You know, there's 9, 12 feet boards that now people learn on. But I learned on a short board. So I'm still a little biased about longboards, but I'm older now, so I have to go into a
Basically deal
longboard.
with it. Right.
You know,
Right.
I can't pop up as quick as I used to back in the day.
Hey, that's why you gotta pass. That's why you gotta pass that love down to some other kids.
While you talking about that, can you kind of explain to people, because I know they have no idea, they've only seen surfing on TV. So what's the difference between the longboard and the shortboard, and what are the pros and cons of each?
Okay. So I don't know if you can see in my screen, but right behind me there's a white surfboard.
Yeah, I can see it. I can
And
see
it's
it.
that board right there is about 5'9", maybe 5'6", between 5'6" and 5'9". That's a short board.
About Benji's height.
Yeah, 5'9". I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. So let me guess. The longboard is like
With
6
the kids
feet.
height.
Let me just guess.
Longboard starts off at like 8'6", somewhere around there.
Okay,
So
Ken, you ain't that tall.
there's a mini mall that's in between. There's an in between board that
Now,
is Ken's height. That's called the mini mall. So yeah,
right.
he's included in the almost semi longboard category.
I mean, hey. I mean, you got to get in where you fit in, you know. But see, you like the short board, so the short board got to be pretty dope. Tell us about the short board.
So the shortboard is dope because it's like a skateboard. And I don't know if you guys ever skateboarded, but you know how fun skateboarding is. There's a lot more maneuvering you do. Most of the time you see the longboarders, they caught a wave that's 1 foot and they ride it all the way to shore, right? And that's what they do. So you don't see the carve, you don't see the maneuvers, you don't see the floaters, you don't see any of the dynamics of what the sport can offer. You don't see any of the tricks when you're watching longboard. All you see them is walk up and down this longboard. You know, they just walk and then they walk back. If you know, I think Ken shared Neek Miller's video one time. She's a Black female surfer out of Hawaii, and she's one of the best there is. But like I said, they walk that board. That's how they surf that board. And that board is a little bit more, well, it's not a little bit, it's a lot more buoyant than these boards right here, because these boards, you have to have speed and balance, and you have to be on it. This board will hurt your feelings. Like it will humble you in a second. Whereas, you'll have big fun. You'll catch 10, 12 waves with the longboard, and you come home sad because you didn't catch one because the waves weren't perfect for this board. So it's a huge difference. And there's a lot of things that you can practice to get to from one level to another. So in our business, we use Surfskate. We're sponsored by Carver. So Carver gave us surf skateboards. Now, how are they different? The truck on the skateboard, if you notice the wheels on the skateboard, the trucks on a surf skate are different. So it allows you to go here, it allows you to go here, as if you're going on the wave. Whereas a skateboard just like stays like this. Drive, yeah, and you can lean, and it'll go that way. But these actually, if you just barely pass your foot, you're driving in that direction. So it's a little bit different than your average skateboard, and they're much more fun. I'm not even kidding. I have a longboard, and I'm just out there like I'm some cool old lady, like, I got styles and poses and everything.
I was reading where it has a ton of health benefits to it with surfing. I even read it's quite therapeutic. When you're surfing. Of course, swimming has its advantages and so forth. Talk to us a little bit about the health benefits in that.
So you're in nature. That's number one. And salt, everybody knows salt is a cleanser. Salt water is even more cleansing. So the healing process, just even when you have some type of flu, sometimes of the allergies, If you're putting saline in your nose, it's coming through your system, it's cleaning you out. So there's good properties in even the bacteria that are in the ocean. You got sea moss, you got all these
Right,
things
right,
that
which
you
is
come
good for
that
me.
come from.
Right,
So those are all things that are good for you while you're in there. But as far as your physical and your mental, right? You're using your entire core for surfing.
right.
You're using muscles and surfing that you didn't even know you had. That I see
Because you got
baseball,
to be
basketball.
balanced, right? So you got
You
to, yeah,
you've got to be balanced, but it's a system of muscles that aren't necessarily used in repetitive sports like basketball, baseball, and football. That's why you see when you see football players or basketball players try to surf, they can't quite catch it right away because it's a
right,
whole different muscle system and they're
right,
falling, right?
right,
So they're used to the calf and we're used to the core and the thigh and the butt, right? So
right.
those are our areas, right? And we're
Now,
not
I,
used.
I, I do recall, if I'm not mistaken, Tim Duncan, since you mentioned basketball, was a great surfer.
Yeah, Tim Duncan. There's I'm in touch with another NBA player. His daughters are all surfers. They want to come and surf with Black Girl Surf. They're down in Costa Rica.
Okay,
I think his name is Brad Wilson. I can't remember, but yeah, him and his girls, they surf. Willow Smith, the whole Smith family, they surf. There's so many people. Rihanna surfs.
right,
Uh, there's so many people that have picked up the art of wave riding, and I, as far as your mental is concerned now, any connection that you have to nature is calming.
good, right, right,
So surfing is an individual sport. I
right,
always say for me, surfing is my church because when I'm out there, it's just me and the water and God. That's it.
right,
There's nobody else judging you. And that's why a lot of times I surf by myself. Well, all the time I surf by myself because you don't want. I like to have fun. I'm usually trying to cleanse myself of this business because the business of it is hectic, right? The business of surfing is Ken sees it. It's in my statuses all the time. It's stressful.
right,
There's a lot going on. It's sexism, patriarchy. There's so much stuff. Colorism, texturism. Now, I mean, there's so many things that are in there. When I go out, I want peace, and
right,
there's
right,
peace in the water. And water has
right,
always been um,
right,
a healing element. And so we put that into our training program. So we have surf therapy courses that we give the kids. And now with women, we just had a retreat in Costa Rica, um, the surf therapy, so that you can sit down and you have this commonality now, and the water is healing, and it just seems people just seem to release more when they're at the beach and they're at
right,
they're in that ocean environment, and then you can really perfect the training of a child once you get that mental, the stress from
right.
home,
Distributed to
this,
focus, right?
yeah, exactly. And we're feeding you, so if even if you come in to class and you're hungry, we're feeding you, so you don't have grumbles and while you're trying to focus. This is an all focus educational high performance training program, and we just partnered today. Well, we've partnered a while, but we just announced it today. We partnered with a company in Senegal called Club Nautique d'Angor, and they have a youth program where they have kids in all water sports, whether it's kayaking, life saving, anything that has to do triathlete. That's where they're basically based, and they're teaching kids and women how to surf. I mean, how to swim in the morning. We're adding on to their program by adding the surf component to them. So
Right,
we're
right,
spreading even in our own program. We're expanding it because water sports for Black people have been like the elusive thing. We don't really do that. We don't swim,
right.
you know.
Don't hear
And
that. You don't hear it too often. That's why
yeah,
I think this is dope that we get to have you on, because this is something that kind of expands people's minds, and you can't be afraid to learn. I think that's where a lot of people mess up at. So because you're in surfing and you're helping these girls, what are some of the testimonies that you get from these young girls after classes? Do they usually pick it up quick? Does it take a little bit? How does it go?
so let's say, okay. So I'm just going to give Senegal because Senegal is always the best example to give.
Right,
So there was one girl that was a female surfer in Senegal, and she contacted me, and then I started her training so that she could go not only to Africa Surf International, but we had found out that the Olympics were going, and it was just one. Okay, we now have 12 camps internationally, and we have over 400 girls. So this
Wow.
is something, yeah. So this is something that was. I've been on live television. I was on live television, I think Gambia, but I was in Senegal, but I was on TV in Gambia, and the broadcaster was just like, "Can you bring this program to Gambia?" Now, I thought this is the dopest thing that ever happened on live
Right,
TV
right,
because
right.
if I'm at home, NBC's newscaster is not gonna say, "Are you gonna bring this?" Because it seems
Program
like
over here, right? Because it's
that's
not a custom thing
it's
out
not a
here.
custom, but it's so important that we start exposing not only
Right,
our girls but our kids to different things. And so we're so successful is because we reached out of the surf industry. We went to mainstream and said, Black people are here and we're doing this too.
right, right,
Right? Not that we want you to treat us special, but we're a missing component in this multi-billion-dollar industry. And we're knocking on the door saying, how do we get in? Like, I'm not asking you for a free ticket to ride, but just make it accessible for all people of color and not such an
right.
elitist sport. It's like golf. I mean, look how long it took us to get Tiger Woods.
Tiger.
I mean, he
Right,
went bananas, but he still was there. But and then you have Serena and Venus who brought Coco and Naomi and
right,
all the
right,
other Black
right.
females with them, and they're standing on the shoulders of Wilma. So somebody has to.
Wilma Rudolph.
Do you feel me?
Yes.
So we got to give them shouts out where they come. So we have to start to traject where we want to go.
Right.
So when I start speaking to people and I say, yes, I did grow up in Kansas City and I did know about the white surf culture. What I didn't know at the time was is that Africa was already surfing. You have to understand, even I say this in all of my lectures, you have to be pretty arrogant to think that white people created this thing and they're the only ones to
Agreed,
do it,
agreed, agreed.
especially in coastal areas, right?
Right.
I was marooned in Senegal and I was in an apartment building that had 5 floors and I'm in the penthouse. And every morning, I'm on 5 floors. Every morning, I'm woke up by kids screaming and laughing and playing. And I look out my window and there are babies downstairs pushing other babies into waves on
Right.
boards, on propane tanks, on whatever they could get that could float.
Just to get in the
They were
water
teaching
and
they
enjoy
were
it.
teaching them how to
Yeah.
surf. And the little bow-legged 1-year-old with the pamper on,
Why
he
you
was
gotta
like,
mess with the bow leg little kid? Why you gotta mess?
where's where's snotty nose? He mad because the 5-year-old then pushed him like wrong, and he was a little selfie paddling on back out there.
Right.
This is the culture. This is where we've been, but we haven't been introduced. You know, I keep hearing this one clown in our sports arena say, "The ocean doesn't know race. The ocean doesn't see color." No, but the people that put products in the water that you use do. And
Do
that's
right.
why you don't see us. Have you seen, besides, and I'm asking Ken too, besides who you see on my page and Neek Miller, how many Black women have you seen in an international campaign for surfing or any water
Yeah,
sport?
I can't even lie to you. I was like, well, I gotta look into this because I didn't know the information you bringing to us. I had no idea. So even when I looked you up on IG and looked up your pages, I went through some things and looked through, and I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. It kind of opens your eyes up to a new perspective, and I think that's dope.
And you got to have a personality like me to get through this. You know, I
Right.
did stand-up comedy for years, and I had to do it because listen, sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying. And if you ever been on my page for 5.5 seconds, if you ain't laughing, you're crying because I mean
Yeah,
it's
we gonna
serious.
laugh.
Like,
We definitely gonna laugh.
you definitely gonna laugh because I'm
Definitely
gonna
gonna
cut up.
laugh.
I even asked earlier. I was like, "Oh, am I gonna be able to cut up?"
Yeah,
I'm
we about to get there. We about
I'm
to get
calling my
there.
marketing people like, is it okay? I know we got a line out right now, but that's my company. That's not me. Let's get real about this whole situation because they left us out of the history books on purpose, right? They went
Oh,
to
of course,
Hawaii
of course,
where they
of course.
thought it was more beautiful. See, they had already snatched some people from Africa, so they wasn't going to say, oh, go surf in Africa. They're going to say, go surf in Hawaii, where these lovely people with the hula skirts on and all this stuff that they made up to market taking over somebody else's country. They couldn't come to the African continent like they're trying to do right now and start doing that mess, because the Africans ain't going to go for that. They just tried it again a couple of weeks ago, and I don't think it's going to work out for them. I keep telling people that there's an awareness coming around the world about Blackness and where we belong and how we should start positioning ourselves. And I keep telling my people, the people that I'm surrounded by, to stop giving your stories away. We have been doing that for years. Build your own community, then sell them the story, because they'll do the same thing to us. Why are we letting companies come into Africa or in our community and having you put up some product, right, for free, and then they go put it on their website and they make millions of dollars? They didn't give that African kid anything. Dime.
Right.
He's still poor, and you probably still didn't even leave him the sucker. Or maybe you did leave him a box of suckers and that's all he got. And that kid was happy because he comes from nothing. You see? So my job is to educate.
Right.
And to elucidate, because a lot of people, you could say, oh yeah, we're stuck from behind the fence, and you'll hear a whole bunch of people who look like us that are ops. There's no hired by those companies say, oh yeah, there's no racism in surfing. I've never experienced that, and being mixed. There's a reason why. If you're mixed and your family raises you around all white people, you probably aren't going to do that, because they know that you're around a whole bunch of white people. They're not going to do. Somebody's going to get socked, right? Okay, but the Black kid from, because there's Compton surfers, Black kids from Compton, Black kids from Oakland, Black kids from any other of these inland areas come to that beach, they're not going to get the same kind of vibe. So while they're sitting over here playing themselves, talking about the ocean don't see color, of course the ocean don't see color unless it's an animal that's going to eat your ass, and then he can see that color. Because pretty soon he's going to see red, because that's your blood.
That's your blood. He don't care. The shark don't care. He gonna eat you.
It gets on my nerves. I can't. It's I don't see color, and that whole I don't see color thing. Come on now. If you didn't see color, if the ocean didn't see color, what kept you, the person that's talking, from progressing? Why weren't you able to bring more people of color, more Black people? Because I'm about Black. It's Black girl surf. It's a Black girl surf. Right. Everybody else can go co-captain and do all that stuff, but I need to worry about Black people right now, because Black people were the ones that were left out. So, and Black women especially. You'll see African men surfing. You'll see Afro-Caribbean men surfing. You'll see Afro-Latinos. You'll see all of them. The one is left out is the Black woman. And so that's why I'm here. So I'm not going to sit over here and tom it out and say, oh, well, we don't see color. No, I see color all day long. I see all shades. Right. I see all shades of whiteness, just like I see all shades of Blackness. And I can see discrimination coming from 15 miles away. So don't look in my face. Don't play in my face and say, oh, we don't see it. And then send one of these ops in here to go and preach that to the white crowd so that I can calm them down, because you got this Black girl that's on fire. Right? The Black girls are not going to put up with this. Right? And this is why I love Black women in this industry. Well, most of them anyway, because there's a couple of them.
I would say you ain't ran into no chatty patties, boy. I mean, your name is Rokki. You know what I'm saying? You ain't want to rock somebody and sock your jaw, you know?
Okay, low key.
Hold on. He has a whole thing called Wig Snatching Wednesday. So there's some.
It's tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and we're going to be chatting.
You know what I'm saying? Look, I love Negroes, but every now and then you just want one of you just want to listen. You just want to
reach in and I will snatch your soul. I will snatch your soul. I'm not kidding. Listen. I don't have time for that. You know, the thing is that you have a lot of people who are, and I'm not saying it, I'm not knocking it, because I was in one. They're in interracial relationships and they don't know how to have an autonomy for their own culture. Right? They think that it's a blended family. You got to go accept this culture. You accept in this culture, and you can't have any autonomy as a Black woman. Right? And so then they come, then they bring their little self bow-legged into the industry, and they over here talking about, well, me and my husband, we don't see color. Girl, everybody see color. We all see color. They start the same thing the boys start. And so that is why it took me 20 years. It took me 20 years. 21 years. Actually 20. I'm going to say 20 because we're good now. We're a fixed element of the industry
Right,
now.
right.
But it took me 20 years to get here. It took 20 years for the surf industry to say what this Black woman is saying is true. And if that wasn't true, I wouldn't continuously be winning awards for diversity and inclusion. They knew
Right,
there was an
right.
area. But this is the thing with us as a people, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to snatch somebody's soul right now. When we hold ourselves to that, I don't even know what that guy's name was in Django, the black guy, Samuel L. Jackson. But when we hold ourselves like that, we push everybody back, right? Like, I don't want to say, the Sambo thing is all
His
outdated, and
name
the
was
Uncle Tom
Steven.
thing. It was named
Steven.
Steve. See, now we
Steven.
got
His
just
name was
regular old
Steven.
names now. Just be a
Who's
Steve
that
out here.
on
See,
that
I
name?
can say it now. Just yo, Steve ass out here, just embarrassing the whole race. You know what I'm saying? And so,
You know your
I
daddy be
just,
rolling over in his grave till you
I
find
just
out you got a nigga
my
in
dad
your
sit up
house.
there holding on.
You want me to
Oh,
burn the
it's gonna
sheets?
be okay. I went down there. I'm gonna bust the door down. I go down there and kick that whole place down. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not gonna sit over here and go, yes, I'm boss when I know there's something wrong. Like, we got
Right.
kids out here. I'm 54. I got little kids out here who really do want to make themselves into something that they aren't right now, and that they want to be surfers. If you go to Senegal, where most of the surfers are, they are on the exact beach that they film Endless Summer. These kids need a chance. These kids need an option. We don't need
Right.
Endless Summer too. We just need to have somebody come in there that's really going to sit down and say, listen, this is what the problem is, and this is what the solution is. Now, the problem is that if I go into Senegal and I say that, it doesn't get met with the same respect
Right,
as if I was a male, right? Because it's a patriarchal system. So I
right.
have to fight that system with the girls that are working on their own careers, right? So we use Senegal as the model because we've had every single problem you could possibly have. We've had that within the Senegal camp. And so
What made you stick with this? Because we're talking about the 20-year process. I know you come from that background where your mom is in it for our people. So I know that resiliency is there. But what made you stick with the Black girl surfing thing? Because I'm imagining there had to be a lot of issues holding on to it.
okay, so before there was Black Girl Surf, it was Inkwell Surf, and I created Inkwell Surf after I found a segregated beach in Los Angeles and had it demarcated for the first African American surfer that they never put into the history books. Who, if he had lived in 1951, he was killed in Malibu in 1951 surfing. But had he lived, the face of surfing wouldn't look like it looks today. So for me, it was at first, it was me. I'm a fashion designer. I've been designing for years. I've been stylist and designer for people like Heavy D. I was at MCA Records all through the 90s, New Edition, Bobby Brown, all them problems. I saw all of that and I got tired. And I said, let me go start a clothing line for Afro surfers. And I wanted an Afrocentric, that 70s vibe with the big, my uncles like the big wingtips, all that.
Yeah,
The big cool thing. Yeah, that was the it was pimping.
It was like clothes.
Oh yeah, it was all black. It was black. It was black on black. I was not kidding. I'll go pull something right now out of the closet. It was like just like you see Coffee Brown wearing with the vest and the choker and the wide leg pants, the whole thing. That's what I was designing. That was my aesthetic when I first started. And then I found Inkwell. And then when I found out the injustice that was going on there with them not even mentioning us, I needed someone to represent. Because when you start a clothing line, especially in sports, you need somebody to represent that. And they have to be a surfer or something. You got to do something. And so I started looking and I couldn't find anybody. So when I got the plaque for Inkwell, I sent a press release off to an agency called Black Athlete Sports Network, and it was just the press release that said, we're going to do the plaque unveil, blah blah blah, for Nick Gobaldon, blah blah. And the editor and the owner came to me and said, listen, would you like to come and be a journalist for us? So that's exactly what I did. I became a journalist for them, and I covered Black surfing. But they sending me out, and let me tell you, it was lovely because I got to go back to Hawaii again.
All right, here we go.
It's lovely being
or Oahu. Which one was it?
I went back to Oahu and I went back to North Shore, but here's the kicker. And they announced Black Athlete Surf Network loud on the speaker, which is like the holy grail of what you want to happen when you're at a surf contest. You have finally officially arrived, right? And,
proud moment, I'm sure.
But who am I reporting on? Because there's none in the water. And at that time, we weren't so woke where we were saying Afro Latino, Afro Caribbean. If they looked Black, we were like, well, they might be Black, but we were walking up to them and going, hey, are you Black? Because, at that time it would have been offensive for them. They could have took it anyway. So we just said, okay, we don't know who's out there. We know there's no Black people. We knew there's no African Americans on this ticket, but they kept sending me out to these assignments and I'm loving it. Let me just go. And finally, one day I just woke up and I said, listen, somebody has to get from behind, because everybody's a keyboard bandit. Everybody wants to be a keyboard bandit, right? Everybody wants to have they say and whatever. I said, well, it's time to put this laptop down and it's time to get in front and start actually making the change instead of being behind it, complaining about it. Because my mom comes from, being with my parents, they're solution-based, right? You get in trouble at my house, my parents got a solution for you. Like what they did, they put us in the juvenile justice system before we even wanted to be, just by not doing our chores correctly. And now we're about to get a whooping. So either you're going to get a whooping or it's a court. You're either going to get put on restriction or you're going to get a whooping. Which one are you going to get? And for our parents, they told you how to go through the justice system, right?
That's good. That's
so my sisters were the lawyers, or my brothers, whoever we was in trouble, and my mom was the judge, or my dad, and they were interchanged as the lawyer counsel. And that's
you grew up with Heathcliff and Claire Huxtable, huh?
Seriously, right in the house. It was just mad crazy because this is how we got to recognize who we are as people and injustice in its totality. So if they're teaching us already at this, and I'm looking at it, I'm at a contest and I can't see one Black person out here. My parents are coming from the civil rights movement. I have all this information and I'm just going to keep it to myself. And all I could hear was my father saying, when you have a skill, go back into the community and help. So that's what I did. All I did was take what I knew from being a surfer for 30 years and go back into my community and saying, this thing really helped me. Let's see who it could help. So I started helping, the battered women's shelters down there in Los Angeles, in East Los, taking foster kids out down in Leimert Park. I mean, I was doing all of this back in the early 2000s. So this was something that was almost already gone. So after Inkwell, we said, okay, I go into let's fix this mode. So even as a reporter, I go into training to find out how to judge a wave. Because just like basketball, you throw it up 2 points. If you're outside, you 3 points. Everybody's got rules. You're inside this line, and you got to figure that out as a journalist. Otherwise, you just sound like somebody that's just talking mess about somebody. You don't know what the procedure is and why they get 5.0 as opposed to a 10-point ride, right? So I took it upon myself to go down and learn what they learned. And that's exactly my philosophy. Go learn what they learned. Then you can't say you didn't know and there's no access for you, because that's what I did. Went straight into those classes. I learned how to judge and officiate a contest. And then I created the Africa Surf International, which was a surf series that I created so that the sponsors could showcase Pan-Afro surfers at one spot. And then you could pull who you wanted to sponsor. And in that, we're training the kids how to compete in surfing, how to judge in surfing, how to do jobs behind the camera, whether it's camera work, scoring, whatever the case may be, judging. We're trying to put soldiers that look like us on the map, right? And put them in the mix. And so that was the reasoning behind Africa Surf International. Now, what happens is we launch it, and it's going to launch in Sierra Leone. So we picked Sierra Leone at that time because Sierra Leone had just come out of a civil war, right? And we wanted to, like I said, surfing is therapeutic. So I wanted to do an amputee surf camp there for the kids who had lost limbs in the diamond mines and all that. And, you know, the soldiers would just come and just chop your hands off and all this kind of stuff. So we wanted to go over there and just give them a day of respite, you know, just like, let's just chill. And then when we were doing the research on it, we found surfers in the back. So we decided to make it a whole program and then turn it into not only that day for the amputees, but all over contest, and then bring people in. We pay for the people to come in, invitation to come in and have this contest. And
now, how crazy is that, though, to find that an amputee can find comfort like that on the water?
It was crazy at first, but there's a group of people. I'm a veteran. I'm a Coast Guard vet. So there's a group of people that I found myself called Amp Surf. And they got me back in the water because they were amputees and people who had been in the military, been injured, and they were putting them back in the water. Now, before, when we were just starting this amputee camp, we had no idea that this thing was going on this side. But it's a beautiful thing to see. I was surfing.
I can imagine that. Probably gives you some great hope. I can imagine that.
The most inspiring thing and the thing that will humble you the most. So I came out of the military with blown back and neck. Right. So that was my injury. And it took them 15 years to do surgery because they said I was too young. I go to this amp camp. On this side, the guy is blind. He got hit by shrapnel and Desert Storm, so he can't see. And on this side is a woman who has one leg. We call her One-Legged Joe. Now, if they surfing better than me, that shows you the resilience and the hope that and the inspiration you get from surfing. Because Ken was over here blind surfing. I mean, I'll put the pictures up on my page later, but you guys will see it. I was amazed. And One-Legged Joe, she was way surfing better than me. I mean, with one leg. So your disability doesn't have to be. It can be an ability. So that and even in the program of the Olympics, when they added in surfing into the program, they added surfing into the program for Paralympics. So there's a Paralympics as well as there is the regular Olympics, and they both have surfing as their competitive, one of their competitive sports.
Wow.
So it's there. And as a black dude is one of our champions. As a black guy, his name is Tyson. He's down in Los Angeles. And he has one leg, and he's on the U.S. team. He went to the Olympics.
Oh, see, see. I bet you a lot of us didn't know that. I certainly didn't know that. So I'm gonna have to look that up.
Hold on, I want to go back a little bit because you keep bringing up this name Inkwell. So I gotta go back to this. I gotta go back to this because that was my first exposure. Now I saw some of the shows that you talked about earlier. But of course, when I came along, I was born in 1980, so a lot of that stuff was older, and it was on reruns.
It makes me want to watch Inkwell right now.
So Inkwell was the first movie that really exposed me to anything that showed black people surfing. So when we talk about Inkwell, people don't understand that was an actual place, right?
There are a few Inkwells. Okay. So anywhere where the beaches were segregated, they were basically, unless you're a Chicken Bone Beach, which is in Atlantic City, you're probably nicknamed Inkwell. The Inkwell you're talking about is in Martha's Vineyard. The Inkwell I'm talking about is in Santa Monica, California. There are a lot of Inkwells. There are a lot of black beaches. There's books on it of all the black. Bruce Beach is also in Los Angeles. And at the same time that I was getting a plaque at Inkwell Beach, Bruce Beach was getting their plaque up. That beach used to be owned by black people and was taken by the city and was just given back last year before the year turned.
Yes,
2022. The city of Manhattan Beach gave that beach back to
from them.
The center.
And that's what they did. Everything.
That's what they did.
Over $1 billion now. I mean,
exactly. Santa Monica and Santa Monica in the early 1900s. Up until they figured out that the beach was a viable properties, was Black and Mexican. So it was just Black Mexican community, and that's where you get Nick Gobbledon, and that's where you get Nick Gobbledon being biracial that early in time, right? So his parents, his dad was Mexican, his mother was from Texas, and she was Black, and they migrated to Los Angeles and to Santa Monica, and that's where he grew up. But a lot of people from Texas landed in you go down to Santa Monica is like Texas 2.
I mean, it's beautiful down there. It's beautiful down there.
A lot of people from Texas, because they feel like the weather is almost like the climate is almost, it's equivalent to it. So, we call it Texas 2, but that integration, and then forgetting. And there was also at Inkwell, there was a crystal plunge there too. That was a bathhouse for Black people, and they got rid of that bathhouse. So they destroy our history to keep us from doing
right.
Because if we would have known that we were surfing in Africa, we would have been surfing a lot longer than we have been right now. And there's been sporadic groups that have come out and they've done their thing, but they've all done their thing for the sake of themselves, not for the sake of the future, not for the sake of the youth that are coming up. It's usually something that they, look at me. We're in an internet age right now. Everybody, I don't want to, but what we did here at Black Girl Surf and Inkwell Surf and Africa Surf International is that we're putting in place policies with these companies that this need to change. It needs to start from the marketing department. It's not just come out and just take a whole bunch of kids to the beach and you're never going to see them again. You know what I mean? And then try to indoctrinate them with all your ocean BS and not even include them. There's Black marine biologists all over the place.
Right.
So I'm not going to, and I just left Surfrider Foundation because I got tired. They didn't really I was the diversity and inclusion person for the San Mateo chapter. And I just, within that whole corporation, I didn't see where they were being genuine about going into and really teaching Black people about the ocean and how what happens in the inner city reflects how the climate changes, how the ocean changes. They don't teach you that. And I kept saying, if y'all go east of 5, you're going to have a whole other target market of people of which to sell product to, and they just wouldn't listen to me for years and years and years. And so me leaving, it gives me ample opportunity now, especially in the position I am, to find the Black marine biologists that are going to fit with our program, that not just want to take Black kids from the inner city to the beach and have them pick up garbage on the beach that white people left 3 days ago. I'm not into that anymore.
Right.
That's not my spirit
anymore. We wanted to get into the full-fledged.
Yes, understand why they're going out there to do it. Yes, have them be a part of it. It's their ocean too. It's not exclusive to one group of people, although they've tried to make it that way for centuries. But here we are in this day and age, and it just took somebody walking through the door and saying, listen, we're not going to put up with this anymore. And it had to be the right person too, because the way I see it, and I'm not even bragging on myself, my attitude is like this: I'll go down, burn down the whole building. I don't care if you're racist. You know what I mean? If you're racist, we about to do it. And that's the reason why you keep seeing that name scroll. That is the equivalent of fighting racism, that Rokki thing, because that's why I got it in the first place. So when people think I'm not going to go and challenge somebody and you're being racist or you're being sexist, all you got to do is look at my nickname. That'll tell you everything. I didn't come here to be playing. I didn't come here for you to play in my face.
Walk in the school, you're going to get your jaw socked.
I just fight in a different way now. I fight using a $50,000 a year vocabulary that my parents paid for, that I told them I'd never use again after I left. I did. I told my parents, my dad said, why did we pay all that money for your education? And I don't even understand what you just said. And I said to him, because the way the world is going, Dad, we will have forgotten about the kings and queens English, and we will all adapt to our own vernacular, and that will become part of our society, and we shouldn't be embarrassed about it. No, so I dropped the whole...
Our dialect is just as important as anybody else's. So,
so I want
our own language.
We do, and it's funny because I still, when I go out, and I was just out on Saturday, and I was talking to this woman, and I was almost offended, but not, because I'm so used to it, when she said, I like talking to people like you because you're so articulate and your prose, and you're so calm in your demeanor. Y'all don't know me like that.
You're like, hold on.
Ask my trainer how calm I am. That's Haji Sam, how calm I am. She does say you stay going off. That's what she says. You stay going off. Yeah, I stay going off because I'm a coach. I got to keep people motivated. You got to keep going, you know, and that's how I am. But still, I'm not one of those people that's going to back down from a fight. And this is it's not even a fight. It's just letting people know that we're here. I'm not interested in assimilating into your community. I'm telling you that I'm building my own, and I have my own
Right.
resources, and I have my own people that I trust to be behind me in this movement, because it's not just it didn't just happen with Black Girl Surf. It like Black Girl Surf was the catalyst, and now you see Neek Miller, and now you see all these other things. It was like Black Girl Surf made it okay to be Black, because we weren't changing our name.
Market, right.
Everybody was asking us if we were going to change our name. Like, aren't you going to change it? Or I get this one. Why is it Black Girl Surf and not White Girl Surf, or just Girls Surf, all Girls Surf?
I mean, because you want to put your stamp on this particular demographic, and I can dig that. And I personally don't understand why people need to even make that an issue.
They do. It's a big issue.
Of course, I mean,
it's a big
it happens. You see it everywhere. You know what I mean? And it became popular just to do it. You know what I mean? But I mean,
and now everybody, but when I did it with the intonation that we are missing. We are the one missing element. The Black girl is the one missing element from the industry, and it's based on imagery. It's based on the fact you can go out and find you a chiseled Black man all day, every day, put some board shorts on it, and white girls are going to swoon, right? Ooh, he fine, Lord child. Listen, listen. And then you bring a Black female out, and she's curvy, you know what I'm saying? And she fire. Then you got, she's too heavy, and she's too dark, and she's too this, and her hair's too nappy, and she could never be the image of a professional surfer. And that's the way it is. And it happens right in the marketing rooms. So when I say
the dope thing though is that's a lie though, and you're proving them wrong.
That's exactly why I'm here. So you see why I'm not changing Black. Black is Black. That's it.
Right.
I'm Black. When I came out, I was Black. They didn't know I was a boy or a girl. They was like, they looked at my dad and they said, that is definitely yours. You know what I mean? Because I was Black. My mom was scared.
Don't be ashamed.
Yes, I was Black. You know, I was.
You're gonna make me preach up in here. Stop.
Different shade of Black, but I was Black. They didn't even know. They didn't know if I was a boy, girl, nothing. They knew my hair came out kinky, and I was dark. That's what we know for a fact. So there's nothing wrong with me saying Black girls surf, because Black. I get what you're saying about Black girls rock and Black. Those are very important things, because we have to take care of our own. Right. I wouldn't care if Black men came up, because they did. They tried to do a Black guy surf, and I was like, really, y'all do? We did. We knew that already, though. But okay. But if that's what you want to do, I don't have a problem with it. But what I'm saying is that if we don't specify, we finally got a capital B. Do you know how long it took us to get a capital B in Black? They just did that last year. Was it last year? Webster's just finally added a capital to the Black. As far as African American was always capitalized. But Black was never capped. And now, what do you identify? WSL, World Surf League, is our NFL league, World Surf League. Their diversity officer asked me, what is it that diversity officer asked me, what is it that is okay to call Black people? Or is it okay to call Black people? Or do we call African American people? How is it that we?
Wow.
So I'm telling you up front, don't get it twisted. I don't want you to. It's Black, and we're Black, and none of us here have a problem with that. Now I've been asked, is it specifically for Black women? If you got blonde hair and blue eyes, and you want to come hang out with a whole bunch of Black girls, I'm not going to say no. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to sit there and you're going to listen and you're learning, because what we're teaching is about our history and about our needs and our culture. We're not going to sidetrack, because there's other avenues for that. Right. There's no avenues for us.
They have tons of avenues to reach.
That's right. And we don't, we have very limited capabilities here. So we have to stay focused, and we have to really, really be honest with who we are as Black people. So we can tell our girls it's okay to be this. I tell all my girls, it's okay to have dreadlocks. It's okay to have nappy hair. It's okay to not do your hair. It's okay if you don't wear makeup. I used to wear makeup. You guys, I used to wear $400, $500 suits every day with heels, 6-inch heels, going into the tech world to make millions of dollars for people who did not care about me.
Right, right. That's been the name of the game for quite some time.
Played the game, had the hairstyle, did all of that stuff. Now they say, oh, black girls don't surf because they don't want to get their hair wet. I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my.
That actually is a dope song, though. I can't lie.
It's true though, and she surfs. So what we're saying. So what we're saying is all those little myths that are out there about black women and about black people surfing, they're not true. Black women get their hair wet all the time. Every day. There's so many black surfers around, and there's so many different shades, and there's so many different cultures that make up the black female, right? The very first black female I saw, professional surfer, was from Venezuela. Her name is Rosario Alvarez. We're about to bring her into the black girl surf world. And she was actually the very first one. So that's another thing that I do. I'm going to go, and the people that I started out with, I'm going to go back and I'm going to help lift you up. Right. I'm not going to let you push me down, but I am going to go back and lift up my community. And I've done that numerous times. And there's some people who take off and fly, and then there's other people who want to try to stamp out my life and have me go somewhere where, radical black people go, and so that Steve can come back out here and tell y'all that there's no color in the ocean.
Well, we proving it wrong tonight on the 5 Session Podcast. There's this Negroes, we everywhere. We everywhere. We probably barbecuing on the beach and everything. We everywhere.
You're in Los Angeles. Go right down there. They have the Ebony Beach Club is down there throwing beach parties that I'm saying that I was watching on television when I was in the 70s was all white. They're doing it, and they're all black now. Thank God. And this is where I wanted it to be. I don't say, people are like, oh, Rhonda, you jealous? Are you the first? I don't go around telling people I'm the first to do anything. First of all, that's not what happens. But what
I say, you mean you're not pulling a Soldier Boy?
No, I'm not. I'm the first. No.
I'm the first surfer. I'm the first surfer to split his head on the wave.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't do it. I don't do it because we don't know enough about our history, and too much of our history has been destroyed to be that arrogant to say that I'm the first. I am one of the first ones that have been documented in the surfing in the earliest times. But then I just met some woman online the other day that started surfing in the same spots that I did in the 70s. So I never say that, because I always say that anytime you say anything like that, you're being arrogant and you don't know your history, because they keep destroying it. Even if I had surfboards, I had my own surfboard brand and skateboard brand. Now they got this group out called, I don't even remember what their names are. And there's like, oh, these girls are the very first black women to have a skateboard company. That's not true, because I did the ASR shows. But am I going to go over there and knock her down and say, no, I was doing it in 2000 and no, sis, get your money on it. That's how you got to get your money on, and we can populate this sport with a little bit more color. Do that.
Go ahead and do it. Right.
Do it. I'm right behind you, 100%. Matter of fact, let me share some of my stuff on my page. My page, it costs you to share stuff on my page. But if you're black and you're doing something positive, I'm sharing on my pages. It's weird that even at this day and age that people will ask you, to share some little meme or some little advertisement on your site because you have so many followers, that they'll start or giving you tens and $15,000 just to post one time. This never happened in history before, but now they're coming to us. Nike and them are coming to us and like, hey, we need to have you involved, where we could even get them on the phone. Now they're coming to us and we're turning them down. I turned down every company except Hurley, because Hurley was the only one that wanted to go to the community and build from ground up and build a foundation for the future for these kids. Everybody else wanted to take Black Girl Surf name, logo, and put them on fins and coffee cups and, license it out for all kind of foolery. And I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm very focused on what I represent and what I want people to see us as Black women surfers or Black girl surfers, or even Black men, even with all the companies that I own, because it's out there. There's too many Steves There's more Steves than there are Rockies. There are literally in this business. There literally is, because you have to think about where these people grew up and their location and what their race is. Because a lot of people that are biracial, they came up in a white community, and this is something that they did, so they don't see it, and they're very uncomfortable when 5 Black people show up to anything. Oh,
right.
I've been on the beach.
I know that has to be uncomfortable. I mean, kind of now, I would hope it's a little bit not as so edgy, but I can imagine maybe 15, 20 years ago, you know, a group of Black folks showing up at the was kind of unnerving for some folks. I'm sure you had to deal with that.
It's a group of Black folks right now on the beach right now. They feel some type of way about. We still can't get in. I was in Hawaii. You couldn't even, at the time Obama was being elected, during the election cycle. As a matter of fact, it was right at the end where he was being. He had won the nomination. Black people were scared to even get together. Like 2 or 3 people, we would just walk by each other in Hawaii. We'd be walking in Hawaii, and we'd just walk by each other and be like, Obama, that was your hello. Like, that was your. You ain't have to say that now. So we already knew.
Just put your fist up. You know,
we already knew it was racism just flying everywhere. So we just walk by, see each other on that bus, be like, Obama, and keep walking. You know what I mean? And most people didn't even know Obama was from Oahu, the same island that they even from. But you go over there, and they were having, when I went back in 2008, it had changed from when I had been there as a teenager, because my father told us that Hawaii was the only place where he didn't feel like a Black man. But given 2000 to 2008 is not 1941, whenever he was over there fighting in that Korean War, wherever he's in the South Pacific. And so that's how he felt. That's how they were being treated. And they were being treated like, you know, just golden when they were there. And then I said, Hawaii changed. Hawaii ain't the same. You know, when you have that much colonization coming in and everybody coming in from the mainland, the same ideology comes straight through, right?
Right. That's what they're taught. I mean, people's thought process is what it's going to be, no matter where they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's sad at this point. For me, my job is very exciting, but it's also very sad. Right. Because on the one side, I get to see misogynoir all the time, whereas it's always something negative about a Black woman, but never that same negativity shown to the Black male in this particular community, in this sport, right? And it has everything to do with shape, size, and looks. The things that they purchase are the things that we come with naturally. And so it's almost like it's a competition thing, I think, because we already tan, we already have our lips, we already have our cheekbones, we already have our busts, we already have our butts, we come fully intact. It's intimidating. It is. It's always intimidating. Even going to get wetsuits. You know,
I mean, it's a wonderful thing to see a sister in a wetsuit. It's just a beautiful.
Because it's curvy. They make the wetsuit with the curve. Yes. They literally. Shout
out to all the women who wear wetsuits and
built-in wetsuit. They got the curve.
And you got some cakeage. Yes.
Right. So we fit in it. Curves will hit. Pop. They fit in it, and they carrying buckets of water back to the beach because they done filled up the hip part.
What's up, baby? Take me out the.
I mean, hey, yes, Lord. The visual is still there. Yes, Lord. A sister in a wetsuit.
Even down to getting even getting our equipment and our gear. Like I said, you know, the surf companies don't even think about putting in the extra sizes. You know, and I've had that talk with Hurley about extending the sizes and also about adding fuller contouring in the silhouettes, right? Because my girls the Senegal girls are all, and this is across the board. Not everybody is, you know, wanting to wear a bikini cut bathing suit, but my girls are Muslim. So there needs to be an adjustment. So there has to be hoods. You know, now we have hoodies on ours where they can, you know, they have their hijab, and then the bicycle pants. Instead of having the short bikini shorts, that are just like regular shorts. They have the bicycle shorts because it has a little bit more coverage. And then the sleeves have caps. They're not like shoulder to shoulder. So I took time and effort to create the line that's out right now at Hurley and at Kohl's, because it was my love letter to Black women. It was my, I see you and I support you, and I'm in the position to make that change for you, and I'm going to do exactly that. So we have a multi deal with the Hurley Incorporated, the international brand, and now we're starting to be, because it's a program. It's literally a fitness program. So now you're going to have recruits. The recruits are going to start. Okay, who do you have? So now Roxy comes and says, okay, who do you have that can easily go into the Roxy team? Who can go? So that we didn't have that before, but now this is where we are as a company. So now we're sending out professional hitters. Like I have a go-to hitter who is Haju Sum, right? She's the one that put everybody on the map. She was the one to put all of this on the map, right? I did the work, but it was her dark skin, her curves, and her being from West Africa that actually changed what you see right now. So when you're looking up surfing now, go back to 2017, do the same thing and see what happens. You ain't gonna see it. And then it didn't exist. It wasn't existing. So until we got her here to the United States and we showed that image, that imagery, the very first one of her right there at Steamer Lane, which Steamer's Lane is a world-class professional surf spot. It's a huge wave and it's gnarly. And we did a news, we were with ABC, I think at that time, and we did the story about her going to the Olympics. And as soon as that imagery hit the screen, we literally have been nonstop for the last 4 years.
That's dope. That's dope.
Okay.
So it was something that was needed. It is needed. And the Black male is needed in the surf industry too. There's still some there. We just don't have any on the CT.
The interest. I wonder how deep the interest is.
The interest is deep. It's deep, but somebody had to break the ceiling to be able to come back and tell you how to get there, right? Yeah. Like I said, I hope they put Harriet Tubman on some money, because I just want to walk up and hand it to some of these steams and be like, here, this Harriet Tubman trying to save you, partner. Look.
Right.
I just wanted, she couldn't be here right now. So I would just give you a token of her appreciation to say that if she would have known you, she would have shot you. Because she said she was, if them boys, she would have shot some. So listen, they don't know they're slaves, and that's okay. They'll figure it out when it comes down to it. When it comes down to renegotiating your contract and you don't get what you think your net worth is.
Okay.
That's what it basically boils down to, how your dollars and cents are going to pan out. Because I tried to lead, right? I tried to lead them. And I did this before. And it's the reason why I left Inkwell to do Black Girl Surf, was because the boys always wanted to be like Kelly Slater, right? Mm-hmm. They wanted to be like that white icon of surfing. And so they would do things like go party with white boys and not show up for the heats, or, you know what I mean? They didn't want to do things that were in the Black community, things like that. And I was like, listen, my name's Rokki. I don't have time for this. So let's do this.
Go get this job. Go get your chin check.
I had one surfer.
And you've been in here 5 seconds, and I already got to do some chin check.
I gotta go. I gotta get up out, and I gotta be up out of here. And so I told them, my last guy, when he won, because the last guy that I was helping, sponsoring, and working with, he made it to Athlete of the Year in Jamaica.
Wow, that's dope.
And I was like, for me, that's as far as I needed to get to be able to help the girls, right? Because now I know, obviously, if I got him here, I know the pathway. And so I told him, I sat down with him and I said, listen, I've taken you as far as you can go, right? You're in the major leagues. Now I have to go and do this same thing for the girls' side, because the girls now need help. So that's why you see a cutoff from Inkwell, and now you see Black Girl Surf. Black Girl Surf is the one that caught worldwide attention.
Right.
But it was Inkwell. It was the foundation that I built within the boys of Inkwell, and I still have them to this day. That helped catapult this to where it is now. If I didn't have those guys, I wouldn't have these girls. And so I never want to say that I wouldn't go backwards, because I love every single one of them. Matter of fact, one of them wants to come out here pretty soon to surf out here at Mavericks. But yeah, this has just been an ongoing love fest of water, waves, and good vibes. Like it has
And
its down days,
discipline.
but it's always good. It's discipline, of course. I got
And
that
good
from my father.
discipline. Well, that's the thing that I take a lot from this, because I can imagine that even reading up on it, having to understand how disciplined, focused, all of that. And it kind of brings up the idea of, when you're actually a boxer, how it all kind of ties together, how the mental focus, the cardiovascular health, all of those things, but ultimately the discipline and the focus.
Definitely got to have the cardio, the discipline, and the focus. I mean, that those two are the two keys. That one underneath it is cardio, because that's the one that's going to keep you motivated out there. I'm telling you, because you skip. Because I'm telling you what happens to everybody, and I'm going to tell you what surfing basically is for your audience. Surfing is basically survival, right? So basically, you go into paddling out in this middle of this water, and it's going to be this huge wave that's going to come behind you, and you're going to have to paddle for your actual life, right? Because if you don't, and this wave takes you under, or you got some seals or something,
you're in trouble.
So you're in trouble, right? So you definitely, it's the adrenaline rush, basically, is what I'm trying to say. That is the addictive part of surfing. And there's and I'm so bad about this adrenaline thing. I do stupid stuff like lean over the side of tall buildings and stuff, because you can feel it. You can feel it. The same rush. If I'm not surfing, I'm gonna do something stupid, because I already know. Okay, you gotta. I mean, it's like
professional risk taker.
I do it all the time. Like, we'll go around the mountains. You have to go around the mountains to get home, right? And I'm just like, roll the window down and like stick my head out, because you can see all the way around it. And you feel it. You're like, oh yeah, I want to die. Right? So you keep going. But yeah, basically. But basically, that's what surfing is. Because that's the adrenaline rush.
You can do that if you walk by a couple police or something. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
So you shouldn't be scared to get.
You ever had the police pull up behind you?
Oh yeah, and just before I got out. Look, I live in San Jose, California. That's a regular habit.
Them disco lights come on. Lord have mercy.
And I have to tell the African, like, listen, the police is behind us. and they don't understand that concept. So they're like, hey.
What?
And you like, oh my God. Okay, that's your surfing for today. I got enough adrenaline going the last minute. But yeah.
Right.
And then you mix those two on top, because we go into these beach cities, right? And so you always see some black people with surfboards on the back. They don't know if we stole them or what. So we always going to get fought on at least 4 or 5 blocks, depending on where we're at. That it's just, it's just one of those things. But overall, I've never met one person who has gone surfing one time. Not in my lifetime. There's not one person. I tried it.
Right.
No, they tried it twice. Maybe they didn't like it on that second time, but they loved it. They almost liked it on the first one, but they didn't quite stand up or something. So they tried it again, and then they just gave up, because they felt like it was too much work. But if you
it'll challenge you, from what I understand, and
it is.
It's very challenging. It's not something you just pick up instantly and that's it. It's like you got to take your time. You got to figure it out, because it's a whole new learning curve.
And I'm not one of those coaches that likes to push people into waves. Like kids were pushing people. Haju, when she teaches, she'll push you in a wave. So if you can stand up, you at least rode one wave. But I'm a coach and a trainer, and I feel like this: if you don't start them out pushing them, it's going to come. And you don't there's no time limit on when you're actually learning how to get this rhythm, because it's a rhythm. You start paddling into the wave and it automatically starts catching you. So do you start paddling past it, and then you pop and it lifts you up, and then you're gone. But if you push somebody in the wave, they can't feel that. They're already in it. So if you don't get that feeling of, if you're in a contest, okay, I'm up. Okay, now I'm in position. No, you're already almost standing, and then you just get pushed into a wave. That's not as much fun. I like to go out there and get smacked around. Myself, I go surf at the most dangerous beach here in Santa Cruz, and that's Manresa. One, because the waves remind me of Hawaii because they're pretty rough on good days, and then it's sharky. It's super sharky. So you always aware of what's going on. You always know what you're doing.
I mean, they say sharks don't eat people, but I don't know.
I was in Senegal and someone was killed at my break, and I had to do because I was doing I don't know if you guys know, but I did worldwide paddle outs for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery that went all around the world. Thousands of people were in the water protesting against those senseless killings. And I remember being on one of the interviews and they were like, well, did you know somebody got killed at Manresa last night? And I said, yeah, I heard about it. But this is what we know when we go surf. Anybody that surfs at Manresa, anybody that surfs in that spot, we already know that it's sharky, so we know the dangers. Number one, you don't want to go out there by yourself. You always want to have a beach buddy with you, regardless if that person surfs or not. You want somebody on the ground, especially if it's a location like Manresa that's like off to the side and remote. It's not like in the inner city, the city of Santa Cruz. And so I said, yeah, I'm going to put my wetsuit back on and I'm going to go right back out there because we already know it's there. Anywhere you surf. Well, I'm not going to say that because there's no sharks in Senegal. It is hot and the water's hot. So you don't need a wetsuit.
That's good to know.
Number two, the water is crystal clear. Now you can do fishing all day long. You can catch you some sea urchins all day long, but you're not going to get a shark.
Hold on. So you say you don't need a wetsuit. So what purpose does a wetsuit serve where you don't need it in Senegal, but you need it over here?
Hot water.
Yeah.
Hot water. Okay.
Hot water. That water over there goes when it's warm, it's 72. The water temperature. So when it's hot, when it's pumping, it's somewhere close to 90. You really can't tell the difference between being in the water and being on the sand because it's that evened out as far as temperature. Costa Rica, I just came back from Costa Rica. I stepped in the water in Costa Rica. I wanted to fight because the water was hot. Like, you don't want to surf. Like I didn't want to because it's refreshing. You want to be refreshed. You want to get in the same temperature you just came out of. But the water in Costa Rica was really hot. The one particular day that was there. And then we went someplace else and it was a little bit cooler. But the wetsuit protects you from the cold. And if you live where I live, and I live in Santa Cruz, I live in Northern California, it's freezing. Los Angeles is a little bit warmer. So they wear board shorts and bikinis in Southern California. But you won't see that in Santa Cruz.
Okay. Well, I got some quick questions I wanted to ask before we start wrapping up. You talked about earlier how you just appeal to people as someone from the community who's filling a spot. But again, I told y'all earlier she does some really dope stuff and she's gotten some attention. And I just want to talk about that for a brief second. I actually found an interview that she did with Tavis Smiley, and if you all know. Yeah, y'all black folks know who Tavis Smiley is, so know that's a big deal. Like Tavis Smiley just not having the regular person from down the street or down the block on his show. So she was actually on Tavis Smiley's show. So can you talk to us a little bit about that interview and how that went?
That was awesome. It was a reporter who had done a story on me probably 2 years ago, and she is now on the Tavis staff. So she works with them. And she said, there is a girl in California. I think she's in California. She may still be in Senegal. You really do want to interview her. And so when she said, when she came back to me and she said, would you do Tavis Smiley? I was like, wait, the BET? Because my thing is I've been trying to get into the black media for quite some time, right? I'm in mainstream media. All our media is different. I want everybody to know out here, all media is different. So you have black media, you have the mainstream media, and then you have surf media. And I've been trying to get into black media for a long time. So when she said Tavis Smiley, I tried to maintain as much. I think I was more, I'll put it like this. I was more excited about being on Tavis Smiley's show than I was about being on Good Morning America. That's how excited I was. I was so super. I mean, because he was real and he was asking real questions about black people and why haven't we done this and how do I feel as a black woman that these things are going on, and asking real black questions like, I'm tired of answering this particular question when it comes to media and press. How does it feel to be a Black woman in the water?
Wow.
But I mean, you can paint a crazy stereotype.
I
Just
said it's,
crazy.
my normal, because I have to be civil because I'm on major news channels. I just say it's wet.
Turn into
It's
a comedian for a minute, right?
Yeah, let's just put it out there. It's wet. Sometimes it's cold. Sometimes it's warm. Sometimes you wear a wetsuit. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes I'll ride a longboard. Sometimes I'll ride a shortboard. But that's how it feels. You asking me emotionally how I feel? I'm elated, but I'm not elated because I'm a Black woman. I'm elated because I'm the closest that I'll ever be to God, and that's how I leave it.
Right.
Hey,
That's
like they
dope.
say, play stupid game, win stupid prizes.
You feel what
So
I'm saying to you?
you're gonna get some pet in this back. So I mean,
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
if you
it's wet.
stay petty, you don't have to get petty.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
It's
okay.
just wet.
So also you've been covered by CNN, and that's huge
Yes.
because CNN just again they just don't
Major
cover
network, right?
Pookie from down the street. You know what I'm saying? So talk to us a little bit about that because that's not just Tavis Smiley, that's worldwide. Like
Yeah.
CNN worldwide.
So CNN and all of I'm just going to say it out loud. Like all of the major news networks, agencies have covered us. CNN was one of the best interviews for me because this is while I'm now marooned in Senegal, and I don't know the language. I don't have a job. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to survive. And they come like 2 days after I bought my surf club, and they want to do a story based on what we're doing here. And it was just a really authentic, relaxed interview about what we actually do and talking about the symbolism of surfing and just trying to make it a feel good story in times of a pandemic, which is not only landed me here in Senegal, but the world. I'm watching the world die around me, and I have to keep these kids motivated,
Right.
right? Motivated to want to continue to live, to not look over their shoulder and not trust people because they're coughing, or you know what I mean? Just the world was just getting crazy, and people felt like it was getting desperate, and people were getting locked down. And when CNN came in, we were just able to shine that light that, listen, even in this darkness that we're going through right now, you can pick up a surfboard and you can go to the beach because the beach is open and it's an individual sport. And there's no way you're going to be way more than 6 feet from the person that's next to you. So surfing on the multitude of times that we've been on air has grown expeditiously just because they keep seeing us on each TV screen. On each, I'm every day in the morning. We hear this every morning. We're on TV in Africa every single morning. We're on TV. So the little kids over here, when they get out, when they call us, finally they say in their language because they speak Wolof, and I can hear Rhonda on the TV. That's the two English words they know, Rhonda and the TV. And they see us they see us every day on television in Africa. So we run CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, CGTN. And a lot of people don't know who CGTN, but we have multiple interviews with CGTN, and that's China. So
Uh,
that's China's state network, their government network. And so we're even in China, we're everywhere. We're in Japan. They just launched the Black Girl Surf Hurley collection in Japan. What what started out as an idea turned into a purpose and then a movement
Right.
worldwide.
Right.
So I'm I'm humbled to be in this position where I can say, yes, I've been to, done all these interviews, and we have movies out now, and we're working on a movie deal, and you know what I mean? We're doing all of these things. Yeah, we literally have a movie deal in the works. But the main thing that we're trying to say here is that if you can see it, you can be it.
Indeed.
And you couldn't see us before, so you couldn't be us before. But now you're knowing that we can do whatever we set our mind to. My parents, they told me, especially because they were in civil rights, and my mom was women's rights. So, you know, she wasn't going to let my dad go around here thinking he was the man of the house. So she was the president of business and professional women. You know, she was the president, had a little gavel and everything. You know what I'm saying? She on TV. You know, she was. So they taught us that we could be anything that we set our mind to, and they never cared what we decided to do as long as we were good at it. And my dad told me years and years and years, I always start stuff and I don't finish it. This one, I started and I finished it.
Right.
So
it's got to be pretty rewarding too, though.
Oh my God! Let me tell you, I cried.
Especially to see it take off and be successful as it's been thus far.
Yes, and for the launches. And I don't know if you guys were paying attention, like the first week of March, but it was like one thing good after another that was happening to Black Girls Serve. And it was happening during my parents. My dad's birthday is the 3rd. My mom's birthday is the 9th. And it was just happening one after another. The launch, the clothing launch, the movies, the award shows, and it was just happening on their birthday. And all I could say was, this is your present, Mom and Dad. This is the kid that you raised. You're not here now. I'm sure you're up there partying and talking smack, playing spades, and that's my baby. You know, they watch it from above, and they're proud. But this is the kid that they raised. My mom, right before she passed away, because she hated the fact that I was doing this, absolutely, because it took time away from me spending my last days with her, and she saw us on CNN. She saw that CNN thing.
Wow, that's dope.
And this is right before she passed away, and she just looks over at me. I'm sitting at the edge of the couch, probably missed something that she wanted me to do. She looks at me and she goes, "You really did turn out like me, didn't you, kid?" And that's all she said. And she looked back, and she just kept watching the show that we were on. And yeah, so I get those little things from my parents, you know, those little cues to say that I'm doing the right thing. Every once in a while, you know, being stuck in Africa was not necessarily what I call being marooned or stranded. I honestly feel like because of the work and because I took care of my mother until the day that she died, that I was being rewarded by being placed in West Africa where I was safe, where I had COVID before I even went to Senegal, before it was even COVID. They called it pneumonia. But I had it before I even went over there. And I stayed safe for 2 years and built what you see now. Everything that you see now was built in the 2 years that I was marooned in Senegal.
Man, that's dope. That's dope.
Wow.
I've got to go peep her out. On IG.
So before we close out, she sent me some pictures and a video, and I want to make sure that I put those up and we talk about those briefly before we wrap up. So I'm going to show these pictures. And I'm going to show the video last, and then we'll come back and we'll let you tell us about these pictures in this video. So y'all tune in right here. What we got. Boom. Beautiful pictures.
Okay.
That's amazing. There it is.
We got the gold winner, inaugural Anthem Awards. And y'all check this commercial out right quick.
Nice.
I never get tired of that. I
Oh,
never.
dope.
That's
Y'all, I'll
that's
tell you straight up. I need to get. I didn't order anything, and I saw her posting that they had sold out and stuff. I'm like, I gotta order something.
yeah.
I gotta get some gear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta wait till April now. It's sold out. It sold out in like 2 hours. They had no idea. They didn't know they didn't see that coming. But I tried to tell them ahead of time, but they did not see that one coming. The first picture is Maisie. So that's the one, the little 10-year-old that is our little phenom that we have right now that's competing right now with the WSA, as you see on her shirt. So she's actually a competitor and she wants to go to the Junior Olympics, which is in 2026. So we have her and her sister Veronica under the Black Girl Surf label, and Maisie is just amazing. There's a video up on our IG, Black Girl Surf IG, of her out by. She doesn't have, and this is the first time I've even seen her without like an entourage of people around her while she catches a wave, but she's out there in the middle of the ocean and she's on this wave and she rides it all the way in. And the cutest thing is she does this at the end. It's absolutely adorable. Maisie's like 3'11". She's just an adorable little girl, but she has the passion and a heart of a tiger. So you're going to see her in the pro surf circuit soon. Like she's already working her way into the juniors. Right now she's a mini grom, and so she's going to work her way into the juniors category really soon. She's going to age up. And her sister is already in the juniors.
And she's 10, you said, right?
She's 10.
Wow.
And this is the beauty of what you see in that video. So that video, as you can see, is the plaque at Inkwell Beach in Santa Monica. That's the one that I asked the city of Santa Monica for. Okay. The symbolism in this particular, there's companies right now that are putting out their promos for their clothing lines, right? And they all kind of had it around the time that we did it. We were the only one that chose different shades, different ages, different body types for women, right? There's a Latino, there's Afro Latino, there's an African, there's an older African American, the first female, the one with the braids, that's the first African American female pro surfer.
Wow.
And we haven't had one shortboard, and we haven't had one since. And the dark skin, long dread or the long braids, that's the first female pro surfer from Senegal. Dark skin. So we're trying to represent Africa, United States, Latin America, pull everybody together, right? Because we're all black. When it comes down to it, we're all black. And the younger girl was having, before this particular movie or this little snippet was put together, was having body issue problems, right? So when her suit, so we didn't know if she was going to sit in for the photos, and she's only 12, I think 12, 13. She's in her early teens. And we didn't think she was going to do it. She was already having issues. She's being teased at school for being overly developed. You know how that is, young girls. This is what we do. We try to promote empowerment and body, body positive and all this thing. And when her suit literally came in the mail and they were going to go surfing that evening, instead of putting on her wetsuit, she put on her bikini. She didn't need to cover herself anymore. She was proud to be the body type that she was. She was comfortable in her body type, and it had been an ongoing thing with the parents for years. And so we're not saying that we're solving all the problems, but we're trying to do the best that we can. We're trying to at least give you examples of realness so that you understand you have a place and a space in surfing, in this community, in my community. I'm welcoming. And a lot of people say, Rhonda, you don't look like you can just be approached. I always can be approached. Y'all see me on my page. I'm clowning day in and day out. There's no, it's nonstop jokes. I mean, y'all see my family get together. We from Kansas City. We Kansas City slick. We all talking smack. This is what we grew up on. We grew up on capping people, and you know what I mean. This is what we was bagging on folks, and it don't stop. This is you have to add this part of your culture in. Right? You don't say, oh, just because they're here, then we're gonna stop saying things and we're gonna stop playing the way we play. No, we're gonna get some some big whist or something going on out at the beach, some Crown Royal and stuff, and we're gonna go and take it to another spot. We can still be ourselves and still be in this industry. I don't understand why people feel like they have to assimilate. I'm taking barbecue ribs. Let me tell you.
Taking them down to the water, taking them down to the beach.
The potato salad, and not everybody's potato salad. My auntie potato salad is going. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we take to the beach. We're not going to. I'm gonna go get some cold cuts.
Ain't nothing wrong with no barbecue. I'm just saying, you know.
I'm taking a hibachi grill so I can get me some ribs. Is all I'm saying. And I'm about to have somebody send me a whole case of Gates and Son barbecue from Kansas City, because
I'm go out eat some barbecue and then go out there and win as a surfer.
That's what I'm saying. And with all of it, with the barbecue sauce on your face, and let them know, don't be scared to eat chicken on the beach. That's what the beach is there for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, out there, get you whatever you gotta get. But this is the thing. Like, I see it now. It's starting to change a little bit. But so many years, people would try to be in this whole different world when they go to the beach, and I'm like, you about to get wet. Why you care? Why do you care what somebody else thinks or what you got on and how your body type look? You want to go swim in that ocean. Go do what you need to do. All these things that block us from being free are keeping us back and keeping us actually from enjoying life. Because I could take both of y'all out surfing, and I guarantee you, both of you gonna come back and say, Rhonda, when are we going again? Because my 6'4", 300-pound nephews have not stopped asking yet.
Well, I know when I go down the ocean side, I see them out there surfing, but I hit the water, but I ain't afraid of the water. But I've never tried surfing. So
okay, so next time I'm in Oceanside, because I'm on my way to Southern California. We're going down there. Yeah, we heading down there for a week. We're now starting our activities. We're all starting our surf camps. Our free surf camps are all available to everybody.
All right.
And so we starting those out. We have a whole container down in LA that we just pull them out when we do it and do our little pop-ups, and we're done. Now we official. We got our whole little, we look all, listen.
Fool around and see me out there surfing. You know what I'm saying?
And I welcome you to do it. And I got a suit that's going to
me and the board the same size, 5'9". I'm just saying.
I think I have some junior suits that I could hook you up with. But yeah, I got a suit. It's gonna be, even if I have to get you the big boy suit, it's gonna be a little wrinkle in the knees, but it's okay. Just pull it on up to your waist. You'll be all right.
Right. Okay. We're gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? We can eat barbecue and chicken wings on.
That's exactly how I
out there. We can, we'll be all right.
Exactly how I want to see it, and I want to see that. I want to hear Marvin Gaye on the beach, and I want to hear some Frankie Beverly on the beach.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? You gotta have that soul food cookout music. You can't go to the beach, and I don't see why they don't do that. And it's just that's when I see Euphoria, and I see a Black surf community. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing what I'm seeing currently. I have my own vision, and part of it is what you saw in that video is to create a world that you want to see. Right? You want to see that diversity. You want to see all different ages. You want to see all different sizes. This is the world that we're in, and the surf industry doesn't reflect that. And so it's my job to help them along. You see,
you're doing an amazing job at it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You said a lot of inspirational stuff, but at the end of every show, we like to give our guests a chance to say something inspirational or motivational or a closing thought before we wrap up. So is this something that you want to tell the people to motivate them or give somebody a slight nudge, you know what I'm saying, if they're trying to do something in life, some motivational, some inspirational?
Listen to your parents. I didn't listen to my parents. All of the teachings that they taught me, they creeped up on me later, and I became that person. But if I would have listened to my parents when I was 13, 14 years old, this would have been a lot easier for me. I would have had a lot more self-awareness. I would have had more self-confidence coming into this thing. I say this to all women. We are all beautiful. It doesn't matter our size, shape, hairstyle, whatever. We are all beautiful in our own special ways. Don't feel like you can't do something just because you're a female. It doesn't make a difference whether you're black, white, red, or green. But I'm talking to my sisters right now because we seem to get down on ourselves because other people said. Don't listen to what they said, because I'm going to tell you what Whoopi Goldberg said once. Whoopi Goldberg said the days will be gone and you'll still be here.
Right.
So don't listen to the days. And I've never listened to what they said. I don't read comments under photos unless it's on my page on Wednesday. And I don't.
What was that, wig snatching Wednesdays?
It's wig snatching Wednesday. I will come I will snatch you like that man did off that girl when she was on the bus. I don't know if y'all saw that. They was on the train, and he just had a train going by. He just reached out and just snatched her, smacked this. She didn't even know. All she could do was run after him. Old boy falling, and that's all you can do. But this is what we do. You have to snatch somebody's wig off. You have to get down to the bare bones. Sometimes you have to embarrass people to get motion.
Right.
I use humor.
Open rebuke is better than secret love. Sometimes
it's better than hate and derision, right? Like, I don't need that in my life. If I could add some comedy in to snatch your soul real quick, at least you laughed about it. I don't know how many people have laughed at other people when they get their wig snatched, and then when I snatch theirs, now they landed in the people you may know.
When the rabbit got the gun, right?
They down there with the people you may know. I was like, oh dang, I thought you was following.
Yeah.
If you got snatched and you gone. I'm sorry, I'm not putting you back on my page. Your feelings hurt. I'm sorry. I do everything out of love. Even when I snatch your soul, I'm snatching so you'll learn something at the end of it. Because I'm not going to snatch just to be snatching. I'm going to snatch so you understand that your thought pattern may not be conducive or productive to even our Black society, let alone we inviting you into our culture. I'm not going to let you come in and just bang the walls up like you want to and just say, okay, we're here now and plant another flag. You did that already. I'm over.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, y'all heard her. She gave you some inspiration, and she also told you she'll snatch your wig. So
I'll snatch your ball.
But
get the wig.
But everything you all heard today is just a summation of kind of what we've seen over the years and kind of the person that I've grown to know through social media. Me and Rhonda have never met before, but we've been friends on social media for a long time. I think since the beginning of Facebook, she was one of my first Facebook friends. So yeah, so we've been friends on social media a long time. So, but like I said, you see what I said at the beginning. Her story is super inspirational.
Right.
Don't let her try to downplay it.
That was a lot. We try to squeeze that in. Nah. That is dope. Y'all gotta go check her out.
Some super dope things. I've been flashing up her website. I put that up throughout the show so y'all can check that out.
Black girl.
Y'all can go follow her on social media sites. She can tell you, Rhonda, tell them how to find you on social media and where to follow you, and follow at your own risk because you might get your wig snatched. But
seriously, I'm gonna put that disclaimer in right now. So you can catch me at Rhonda Rokki Harper on my personal Facebook page. I have an agent page, the op page. It's Rhonda Harper, but you can catch me on that. I'll add you to the fire if you pass that little metric system I got going on there. And then there's Black Girl Surf at Twitter. There's Black Girl Surf on Facebook, and there's Black Girl Surf, the IG. And if you follow us and you donate this month during Women History Month, I think it is, and you donate any amount to Black Girl Surf, you will be whitelisted for an NFT that is going to be that's going to be released pretty soon. So I'm in this partnership with Groms, which is a NFT company that's putting out diversity and inclusion cartoon characters within the surf industry. So you'll see a lot of us. As a matter of fact, when I say I'm coming to Los Angeles, we're going to have the kickoff in Ventura County. So that's coming up soon.
And you got to purchase this month, right?
Yeah, purchase this month. I think I think if they'll probably extend it, but right now you get whitelisted, and the best thing to do is to get on there now before their release, so that you have a secure spot.
I need to do that.
Yeah.
I need the support. I need to buy some merch, and I need that NFT.
Yes.
So
thank you.
We appreciate Rhonda Rokki Harper for joining us.
Salute. That was dope.
Thank you.
a ton of information, a ton of inspiration. So y'all go check her sites out. Y'all go support. Y'all keep up. I'm telling you, you're gonna look up on these news sites and these websites and these news cycles that's cycling around CNN, all these big shows. You're gonna be like, wow, we saw her on.
She was on the Fiyah session. She was with us.
So see, we got some big time people. See,
yeah. You do, and I just, you know, I will do any podcast, anything that has to do with the Black community. So I don't think of it as, oh, we got somebody big on there. No, listen. He asked, we've been friends. He's been hilarious. He kept me so motivated while I was in Africa. It was not even funny. It was him and his jokes every single day that kept me from like losing my complete mind while I was in Africa. So I appreciate Ken more than anything, because I used to go on his page and go, dude, you just make me feel so good because I'm just trapped. Like, I'm trapped. So thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Honored.
Y'all, hey, the honor's all ours, y'all. Y'all, Rhonda, Rokki, Harper. Y'all give her a hand.
Solid.
All right, y'all.
Hey, man, that was dope. That was dope. That was amazing.
Tell y'all how dope it was gonna be, and y'all didn't realize what y'all were in for, but y'all got a lot.
That was a lot of info.
Like, y'all don't understand
check her out.
That years from now you're gonna look back and she's gonna be this is history. This is history she's building. This historical moments that are being made. And y'all, I mean, I know a lot of us don't surf, and still a lot of y'all trying to hide from the water because you don't want to mess your hair up.
Yeah, you can't get the perm wet or whatever.
Step outside of the parameters that other people have set for us and start doing things.
Wear your natural hair to the water.
This guy, see. I ain't gonna take my hat off because I got nothing. All skull.
Come on, man. Wear your natural hair to the water. It's gonna be all right. You know.
I'll show you this hair. This is the only hair I got. but y'all seriously.
See, the reason some folk can't go to that water because they got that stuff that you get at the barber. You know that, what you call that? The fake hair stuff.
That Beijing.
I mean, you get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This hairline is top 5. I can get in the water. I'm good.
Hey, no hate to anybody out there wearing Beijing or you got a man unit on your head. Like, that's just not gonna happen for me. I'm just gonna be bald, and I'm okay with that. You know, some people can't grow beards, and I can. So hey, I mean, you can't have it all.
That's where I struggle. See, you see how God do it. You bald, you can grow a beard. I got hair up here, and I can't grow a beard.
See, you know what I'm saying?
That's life. I mean,
that's life. That's an excellent lesson, and we'll close out with that. Everybody can't have everything, but whatever God bless you with, do the most with it. That's what we'll close it out with. But y'all, we've been blessed to have another great episode, another dope episode. Y'all tune in next week. We got another dope interview coming with some sisters that own their own business, Assist for You. They're going to come on and talk about what they do and their firm, and give you all some good tips, because a lot of you all want to be social media moguls and want to do things dealing with social media, and they're going to give you a lot of great information on that. So we're going to close out Women's History Month with that interview. So y'all make sure y'all tune in next week. My man Benji, tell them how to get in contact with you and where to find you.
IG BRB4701. Look me up on IG. We're building our platform. We're building our brand. We're building things that we need to do. You go look for it. And of course, you can always follow me on Facebook, Benji Banks. You can't help but find. You can't help but find me. Go look me up. You'll have a good time when you're on my page too. We're gonna laugh, but we're gonna make some money too. We're gonna show you how to make some money too.
Yeah, and Benji be cooking a little bit, and you know what I'm saying. So
I mean, they don't want to mess with the cooking skills. You see what I'm saying? They don't want to mess with the cooking skills. You get what I'm saying? One of these days, I'm gonna have to have a cook off somebody live. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's gonna go down.
We'll see about all that. But y'all go follow my guy Benji and tune into his lives. He's very informational and inspirational with the things that he posts as well. Y'all can find me at Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. You can follow the Fiyah Sister Podcast on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session. It'll pop right up. Y'all make sure y'all go to the YouTube channel and follow the YouTube channel. We're trying to build that up as much as we possibly can. Y'all already know how YouTube play. We ain't really looking at the money aspect of it, but we're looking at the reach and how to reach a broader audience. So in order for us to do that, we need y'all to like and subscribe that YouTube page so we can get out to a bigger audience and give more people the inspiration and the education that y'all know we gonna bring to you. Y'all already know we put the medicine in the candy. You know what I'm saying? We bring it to you, we make it look good, but we're gonna feed you with something that you really need in the process. So you know that's how we kind of do it. But we ain't gonna hold you.
Ain't nobody doing it like we doing it. They ain't doing it like we doing it.
Yeah. So we building. Y'all jump in on the ground floor, because when we get big, we're gonna be like, you know what? We're gonna be looking down. We're gonna be like, you remember them? Nah, I don't remember them. But
yeah, I don't know some of them big girls now.
God bless you. Nah, but for real, we appreciate all the support and love that we get. Y'all keep us going. Y'all keep us motivated. Keep doing that. Keep liking and sharing and subscribing, because we definitely appreciate it. Y'all already know it's the Fiyah Session Podcast. My guy Benji Banks, Big Ken. Sir. Peace.
Follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session Podcast.